Driving in Sicily has a terrible reputation,
Honestly, some of it is well deserved.
but some of it not at all.
After living here and driving these roads every day, we have experienced it all.
The good
The bad.
and Fiat Pandas.
Hi, I'm Anya.
And I'm Lucas.
And this is our channel, Spark of Sicily. We share our life and experiences in Sicily unfiltered. In this video, we will share our driving experience in Sicily. The things that we genuinely love, the things that can catch you off guard, and the things we wish we would have known before getting behind the wheel here.
But before we even start, if Reddit and Facebook have convinced you that Sicily is pure chaos, you can now relax. It really isn't as bad as people make it out to be.
If you know us, you will know that we are quite optimistic people.
So let's start with positives.
Because regardless of Sicily's reputation, driving here, at least in our experience, really hasn't been as bad as people make it out to be.
Although the first 5 minutes of driving here didn't really fill us with confidence.
I remember driving off the ferry in Messina thinking, oh God, this is my life now.
It honestly feels like a jungle where only the bravest and fittest drivers could survive.
Thankfully, that first impression didn't last very long.
Once we got onto the highways, we realized we had worried for nothing.
Honestly, the highways completely exceeded our expectations.
They are wide, they are in great condition, and driving across Sicily is surprisingly comfortable.
There is actually a reason for that. After the Second World War, Italy invested heavily in the infrastructure across southern Italy. A lot of what you drive on today actually comes from that investment.
And honestly, they are absolutely beautiful. You are driving through the mountains, crossing huge bridges, disappearing into tunnels, and enjoying incredible views for most of your journey.
One thing we would tell you though, don't assume that every toll booth accepts cards.
We almost never carry cash, so there we were, pulled over before the toll booth, emptying every pocket and searching the whole car for enough of coins to just get through.
Besides that, we don't have anything to complain about.
Things become much more interesting on a state roads though.
Now, don't get us wrong, the state roads marked with 2 S's are in a really good condition.
I would even say they are in better condition than many roads in Latvia.
Driving on a state road is a little different than driving on a highway though.
At least in our experience, that's where we come across more reckless drivers.
The older cars are the ones that make us pay a little more attention.
Those are the ones where we have seen people taking blind corners without slowing down, pulling out without looking, or simply driving as if the road belongs only to them.
Now, before anyone starts typing an angry comment, we are obviously not saying every driver is the same.
Of course not. There are brilliant drivers in 20-year-old cars and terrible drivers in brand new ones. These are just some patterns we have noticed whilst driving here.
Though every country seems to have that one type of car that just screams reckless driving.
In Sicily, it's the Fiat Panda.
Honestly, if you see a Fiat Panda, expect everything.
Literally, if there is a Fiat Panda inside, I even look up before making a turn, just in case.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. I think this is the most important lesson of all. If you see a Fiat Panda, give way and run for your life. Now, for everyone who has already half-written a comment telling how we are absolutely wrong because you have driven in Palermo and it was an absolute disaster, you can stop typing.
Palermo gets its own section.
Because honestly, driving in Palermo is a completely different experience from the rest of Sicily.
It looks like an absolute chaos.
It is an absolute chaos.
What you have to do in Palermo is to learn how to drive on vibes and with lots of confidence.
The lanes are basically where the vibe says they should be.
But somehow it works. People seem to understand each other without anyone saying a word. Well, that's not actually true. Sometimes they shout exactly what they are thinking.
If you hesitate too much, you will probably have a much harder time than someone who simply commits.
Would we recommend your first ever drive abroad to be in Palermo?
Probably not.
But all that aside, we still drive to Palermo at least once a month, often even more.
Driving is no longer the part we worry about. Finding parking in Palermo though, that is definitely harder than finding Waldo.
That's why we usually use the Orlando parking garage, unless we have to go to the port specifically. Now let's talk about the roads that have given us the biggest surprises and adventures in Sicily.
The municipality roads marked with SP.
These can be quite a lottery in here.
I mean, in some municipalities they're absolutely fine.
And in some, there aren't.
I mean, you can still kind of call it a road, right? And drive?
But definitely before going anywhere, I would advise everybody check online on the conditions of the road.
And if you cannot check,
Don't go.
we have learned this lesson many times before.
But we have also learned something new today.
We stood here actually for quite a while just to see what kind of car could possibly drive here.
And it was, as usually,
Fiat Panda! Absolute beast of Sicilian roads.
one last type of the road we should still talk about before we finish.
The tiny streets in the historic centers of Sicily's towns.
And this is actually one of the situations we choose not to drive.
We usually park on the edge of the town and just walk in.
You have to keep in mind that these streets were not built suitable for cars.
Honestly, there is some kind of magic in exploring on foot anyway.
Exactly. On the other hand, it was built before the first cars were built, hundreds of years ago before that.
So, of course, you can complain about the driving situation here, or you can remember that the history of these towns is probably the reason you are here in the first place.
That's the charm, guys.
Though you have possibly thought, okay, maybe not a car, but a scooter could possibly be a solution for this.
And that actually brings us to the last part.
And something we talk about in our videos quite a lot.
A deep personal issue,
Our demise.
sent straight from the hell.
The scooters. If you are driving in Sicily, just assume that at any time, any moment, there is a scooter somewhere around you.
They're always tailing you, chasing you, they are going around you where you don't expect them, and they are squeezing in non-existent gaps everywhere.
The only thing you can do, check your mirrors often, make sure that you make your intentions very clear, and then just expect a scooter anyway.
It's simply a different driving culture.
And actually, once you realize that, it becomes a lot less intimidating.
Just forget the way how you drive at home and adapt to new flow around you. It doesn't like foreigners around here.
No, it stopped, it likes you.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Now the biggest danger of driving in Sicily, gas prices. Recently it went again up, now it's around 2 euros per liter. No buono, no buono.
So hopefully, after watching this video, you will arrive in Sicily a little more confident, a little more prepared, and a lot less worried about getting behind the wheel in Sicily.
And if you are not just visiting but thinking about buying a home here, remember that we also help people relocate to Sicily. From choosing the right area to finding and buying the right property, we would be happy to help. You can find all the information on our website, linked in the description and in our bio.
Before we finish, we just want to say thank you to all our subscribers and to everyone who has recently joined our community. We have noticed it growing so much lately, and we are incredibly grateful that we get to share our love of Sicily with so many of you.
If you have any questions about driving in Sicily or ideas for videos you would like to see, let us know in the comments. We read every single one.
We upload a new video every Thursday, so if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next Thursday. Ciao!